Russian negotiator and family threatened. Moscow opens investigation. The Kremlin said on May 29 that Russian authorities were investigating threats against Vladimir Medinsky, an aide to the Russian president and the head of the peace talks with Ukraine. Spokesman Dmitry Peskov described the act as unprecedented and infuriating, especially as efforts to resume peace talks were being pushed forward. The news came after prominent Russian TV presenter Vladimir Solovyov revealed that Medinsky and his family were facing serious threats, including death threats. Solovyov said the threats came from Ukrainian nationalists. He stressed that Medinsky's children were also targeted. Peskov said investigators were working to determine the source of the threatening messages, warning that if the investigation confirmed that the threats came from Ukraine, it would be an extremely serious action. This is especially reprehensible given that Russia has proposed to hold the next round of talks on June 2 in Istanbul, Peskov said. Solovyov also cited the example of Denis Kireev, a Ukrainian banker who participated in the first round of peace talks with Russia in 2022 and was murdered shortly afterwards. This has raised concerns about the level of risk for negotiators involved in the current peace process. According to Solovyov, Medinsky had directly discussed the issue with Ukrainian Defense Minister Rustem Umerov, who heads Kiev's delegation to Istanbul. Mr. Umerov is said to have reassured that the threats did not come from the Ukrainian government. However, the Russian side remains skeptical and wants to clarify all relevant details. Immediately after this information was published, Mr. Alexander Bystrykin, chairman of the investigative committee of the Russian Federation, ordered the initiation of a criminal case related to the threat against Mr. Medinsky and his family. This is considered a strong legal step to ensure the safety of the negotiators as well as send a strong message to the parties that obstruct the peace process. This information was released in the context of Russian Foreign Minister Sergei Lavrov proposing to hold the next round of peace talks with Ukraine on June 2 in Turkey. Afterwards, Mr. Lavrov also informed U.S. Secretary of State Marco Rubio that Russia is preparing specific proposals to discuss with Ukraine at this round of talks. On the U.S. side, Secretary of State Rubio affirmed that President Donald Trump considers a quick end to the conflict in Ukraine a top priority. Mr. Rubio also emphasized that Washington is ready to play a mediating role, creating conditions for the parties to move towards substantive negotiations. The U.S. Secretary of State reiterated President Trump's call, "Goodwill dialogue is the only path to peace." Previously, on May 16, Russia and Ukraine held their first round of direct negotiations in Istanbul after more than 3 years of conflict. According to Mr. Medinsky, both sides positively assessed the results of the meeting, notably the agreement to exchange prisoners at the rate of 1,000 for 1,000 inches, an important step in building trust. After the round of negotiations, the Ukrainian side proposed to hold a high-level meeting between the leaders of the two countries. Mr. Medinsky said that Russia was considering the proposal, confirming that both sides wanted to